We are live.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to Vancity Beats, Eats, and More. Today we're doing surgery on the show. Just joking. The only kind of surgery or finessing of things that we're going to be doing is making shrimp and dill dumplings. I'm so stoked to have on the show with me today Bella of Ricecake Events. If y'all in Vancity have never heard of Ricecake, they are a non-stop celebration of queer Asian pride in the city. They throw parties, they throw dragon dim sum, they even do Asian night markets. So a lot of things that celebrate our very dope, amazing queer Asian community. And I invited Bella today to join me so that we can make some dumplings, talk about their most recent 6-year anniversary celebration that just passed. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And yeah, you know, as we know on the live show, whatever happens, happens. But thank you so much for joining today.
Thanks for having me, Kazi.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling a little bit hungry.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get into this. It's been a while since I've made some dumplings, so I'm excited to get into your mise en place here and make some magic happen.
Have you ever tried this flavor combo before?
No, never.
So yeah, there is a dumpling place in Toronto called Mother's Dumplings. Mm-hmm. It's on Spadina, and they are known for like the pork and dill flavor that they have, which is so unique. And anyway, I was like, you know, I don't really eat like pork beef too much, but I will still have seafood. And so I was like, what goes well with shrimp? Googled some flavors and dill. And then I remembered this Mother's Dumplings. Yeah. So I was like, ooh, let's do our own version of shrimp and dill. So if you checked out on our Instagram story or I guess a reel that we just made earlier today, I had put in all these ingredients. We've got spinach, dill, we have sesame oil, a little bit of sugar, rice vinegar, cornstarch, and just mix it all up with a bunch of chopped up peeled shrimp. And this filling is good to go.
And spoiler alert, it smells delicious.
Yes.
I can't wait to get into that. I saved my appetite specifically for this.
Perfect. And we also have on deck a smashed cucumber salad, also something that I've tried from Mother's Dumplings, and they go really well together because, you know, we're going to need a little bit of veggie and hydration in between all of our dumpling eating.
Gotta keep it balanced.
Yes. So usually you could very easily make your own dumpling wrapper. It's literally flour, water, salt, flattened, rolled out, and, you know, but like who else can make these perfect circles but machines and just buy the thing in the grocery store? If you want to help me, when was the last time that you ever made dumplings?
Oh, it's been a while. I feel like the last time I made dumplings was probably with my brother, who currently lives in Ottawa. But when he was in town, and I think this was during the pandemic, like trying to get our family together to like make some food was always like a priority. And so I think that was honestly the last time that he did it. But it was interesting because he actually lived in Ottawa at the time too. And so we just did it through a live stream sort of situation. Like he was leading the cooking and we just kind of followed along and made it happen. But yeah, so
What
this is
flavor?
kind of bringing back some nostalgia.
Sweet. What flavor did he do?
He did pork, ginger with some like greens in there, a little something special that I can't recall. But I don't think I've ever had a bad dumpling, honestly.
Oh, yeah. Even when they fall apart, you just like scoop it all up.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a little spoonful of the mixture, pop it in the middle here, and then I just do a little finger with water around the entire edge.
What shape are we going for?
Well, I know how to do the like foldy fold.
Okay.
You know how to do the foldy fold?
With the crimp, with the little thumb. Yeah. Okay.
So I start usually with the first crimp here. And then I take this and fold a little bit in like, what do you call that? Like you make a fold and you press.
Oh yeah.
Make a fold and then you press.
This is gonna be my my trial dumpling. I'm a little bit out of practice on this.
Yo, as long as we can eat it, and then once you get to the last part, you pinch it in, and then I just set it down so the bottom part flattens, and then like squishy squish on the top.
No air, right?
Yours is good. What are you talking about? Yeah, and I think when you like put it on the there, and then kind of like push it in so you get Yeah. Oh
now
my gosh.
this looks like it's from Hans or something.
Yes, exactly. Or Cam Y, one of the best dumpling spots in Vancouver. I actually was going to buy backup dumplings from there in case as well. But we did buy backup dumplings just in case.
You never know. They might want to buy these off of you.
Oh my gosh, it does look good.
It's pretty good. It's legit. Do you want me to line them up right here?
Sure, yeah. And, you can cook dumplings in many different ways. You could do them pot sticker style, so you just like fry them with a little bit of oil on the pan and then a little bit of water with a cover on top, which is one of my favorite ways, but I've definitely messed up the what do you call this? The fry situation where then all the bottoms are stuck.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't put enough oil or overcook them. But my favorite way is, I didn't even put water.
I know, same here. I followed your lead. I'm like, it's kind of dry.
Is to do a bamboo steamer, because the healthier version, and it just feels so classically Asian, like connecting to our ancestral roots.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, yum.
I usually go for the pan fried, the unhealthy version with the cornstarch slurry, so you get the crispy finish when you flip it over the plate.
Yeah,
I'm just in it for the special effects.
That's it. So much of cooking is also sonic,
Yeah.
like just like how mechanics in their cars.
Yeah.
They're like, I know what's going on based on the sound.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about cooking, is like the smell and the sounds that go on.
For sure. For me, it like takes so much for me to actually stop and feed myself that if
Yeah.
it doesn't come with like a 5D sort of show, I'm not there. I'm checked out. But that's what makes me a pretty good event producer, I guess.
Yes. Do you remember? Okay, so you were saying, and I cut you off before the show started because I was like, save it for the stream. But when was the first time we met? How did we meet?
I've been trying to like wrap my head around this because I feel like we've known each other for a while, but I feel like we've started getting closer through our work through VMF. But before that, I feel like I first met you when you were hosting like a dance battle, like also part of VMF. I think there was like a street battle happening and you were on the mic, and I just remember being so like magnetized by your energy, and I think that we chatted after that and just kept in touch.
Yes.
So is that the memory that you have?
It was at 4 Elements of Hip Hop, the event that the hip hop block party that I got to do and curate for VMF, and that would have been like 2016, 2017, a while ago. But yeah, and then I remember you being like, were you partnerships manager, sponsorships of like a cannabis company and doing events?
That's correct. I did work for a weed company at the time. So this was during my my pre-Ricecake lifetime. Yeah, I worked in events for like a corporate cannabis company. I told my very conservative parents that I was working in pharmaceuticals to kind of just gloss over the weed part of it. And so it's a constant joke that we have now. But yes, that was my former lifetime.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I'm glad. That's awesome you remembered that.
So then that means Ricecake started just shortly after.
Kind of, yeah. Like I think there was a little bit of overlap. Ricecake was formally started in 2008. I want to say 18.
Website says 18.
Yeah, website says 18. I checked right before this as well. Yeah, so just during 2018, it started off as a one-off event where my business partner and the mother of the House of Rice, Shay Dior, she recently moved here from Toronto. And
I didn't know she was from Toronto.
Yeah, and she was like, what? Coming to Vancouver, you expect like there to be such a strong like Asian scene, but there really wasn't one at the time. So what their idea was to start off this like queer Asian party. It was just going to be like a one-off club night. We had it at a now gone bar in the West End. We had it at XY, and it was an instant sellout. And I remember like Shay Dior asking me to like just DJ the whole night. But I was like, no. Like, yes, I can, but I feel like if you want to make a big event and get a lot of people out, it's good to have like a lot of different DJs on there who are bringing all their various people there.
Yes.
So I started booking other DJs. We started getting the word out in various ways. Shay handled the drag performers and the go-go dancers. I handled the music side of things. And fast forward 6 years later, we're still doing it. Yeah, we're still doing it. It was an instant success. It popped off right away. And honestly, we had to upgrade a venue really, really quick. So we moved on from XY, started building a relationship with the folks who currently run the Birdhouse.
Yes.
We've been at all their, we've had our events at all of their like kind of DIY underground clubs, from the Clubhouse to the Warehouse and now the Birdhouse. So I don't know.
So many houses.
Yeah, it's kind of like their brand now. But yeah, we've sort of, really like teamed up with them to kind of push forward like our very queer Asian agenda.
Yeah. For world domination.
Yeah. Well, it's so wild because honestly, like at the time, there just wasn't much of a scene. Like there weren't that many queer Asian drag performers, for example. There weren't that many like queer Asian DJs. Literally, like I feel like I was one of 3. And I think now that I have like, foresight, like, a little bit of foresight, I look back and I think about like how much impact we've actually had, because like even at our 6-year party, I was like kind of looking through the crowd and like seeing all the different like other event organizers that were there. Like these days we have so many like queer POC parties that have kind of come up since Ricecake's inception. So I'm not like taking credit for any of those things, but I definitely feel like really proud to look back and see just how many, queer, racialized folks have been inspired by what we're doing to start something of their own.
Yeah.
So like shout outs to Level Up, shout outs to Drill, shout outs to Normie, shout outs to Hot Latch.
Yes.
All these queer, racialized event organizers are doing really, really great work. And if you haven't heard of any of these parties, you should look them up right now.
Yes. That was the major shout out for sure. Because all of those events, like, they really bring, what's cool is like they're bringing nuanced flavor to the scene. Yeah. And bringing something different, but still celebrating queer pride, which is amazing.
And putting a highlight on culture, which is like so important, because I mean, like, I feel like that I'm born and raised in BC and I've had the experience of seeing how diverse it is, but it's really weird that like coming into the party scene, you don't see as much of it as you do like as a pedestrian, for example, so it's really, I don't know, I feel like I'm not like the biggest nightlife person in general, but like I will go out when I know my people are there. So like creating a space where I know all my people will come is kind of like, it just fits like a glove,
Yeah. The last Ricecake party that I got to attend, unfortunately was not the 6-year anniversary, but was the Lunar New Year of the Dragon celebration, which both Bella and I are Year of the Dragon. Hey, 88, baby. Yes. And I was so stoked on that party, and just like the decor, the lighting, V killed it, the performances. It was like there was a mix of like voguing and whacking that was going on, and drag performances, go-go performances, and then of course you up there in the tower DJing. And yeah, it was such a fun time. I really enjoyed myself.
Yeah, that was a good one. Obviously, Year of the Dragon being my year, I just had to go big. And so we had Quill Collective, which is a queer dance collective. They brought all like their Asian dancers and did a really big performance on stage. It was such a vibe.
So tell us about the 6th year. How did it go?
6th year was great. We did something a little bit different. We had our first rave, and we themed it around Sanrio. Yeah. So it was a Sanrio rave. Yeah.
What makes it different from the other parties?
It means we didn't have like stop for a show. We didn't stop for a drag show. So like usually when you come to a Ricecake event, a lot of people expect like a little bit of drag show, a lot of DJs, dance party, all in between. But there is like, a formal showtime where like there's a mic announcement, there's a host introducing people and stuff like that, which we love. We love those moments. But I think for the 6-year anniversary, we just wanted to party,
Just dance.
So we kind of cut the mic. We put all of our talking points in graphics, and then we still had drag performers throughout the night. night, but they popped up between DJ sets.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it was kind of like more of a continuous soundscape of like big room boom. Like it was very EDM energy, like lots of like, I don't know, like dance music classics that you may have heard, like growing up in Richmond, like I did.
Am I correct to say kind of like the early 2000s Y2K like era of rave?
For sure, exactly. Yeah, totally like classic festival EDM stuff. So I played some like Martin Garrix's classics, some like things that you would have heard at EDC. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's not. In a way, I kind of see it as Asian culture, rave culture.
Yes.
So yeah, it was fun. I guess it was just different in the sense that we didn't stop for a show. We just had a continuous long party, and it was a vibe.
Oh yeah.
I think that we're probably going to do that again for Pride.
Amazing. Yeah, and it's so, I mean, everything right now, because it's crazy to think that like the year 2000 is like almost 25 years ago. Oh my goodness. I said that out loud and really took that in. But, you know, like that all of the Y2K stuff is coming back with the what's that, Gen Z? Gen Z. And them embracing what is vintage, what we grew up on. But like, I remember when I was in elementary school, grade 8, like having a lot of friends that I grew up with where they would go raving in like, you know, Champion track pants or Kappa tearaway pants and the visors and the like. When we were in school, we were always just doing this. We were always practicing this over and over and over again, you know, with the glow sticks, like that era of raving.
We had free glow sticks at the door. We gave out Sanrio stickers. It's just like a lot of Hello Kitty and like Karaoke and Pachaco energy all over the place.
Favorite Sanrio character? Go.
Me? Oh, I know this is like kind of like a weak one, but I like Pachaco.
Oh my God.
I think like when I was a kid, like whenever I like hung out in Richmond, all the like stationery stores, they always just had like the best Pachaco pens, like the best colors. And so I was a Pachaco person.
I had a Karopi stationery set that was gifted by my cousin that I would like use to write her letters.
Nice.
Yeah. I also was a big fan of Pachaco because the puppy is so cute.
Yeah. I also didn't grow up with pets, so I think that was my affinity for Pachaco. I was like, I want a dog. This is the closest my parents will let me get.
What a great theme idea, though. That sounded like it was really, really fun.
Yeah, and also, like, I kind of find that, like, post-apocalypse, post-pandemic, I find that, like, it really helps to amp up the pre-party energy when there is a theme. I feel like people kind of want a little bit more of, like, an event to bite into. You know what I mean?
It's like dress up for.
Exactly.
We all like a prompt.
Yeah, exactly. We all love a good theme party. And, it was cute. There were, like, a lot of... people really went in.
Amazing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Another connection that Bella and I have that they mentioned a little bit earlier was working with Vancouver Mural Festival and how we both had this. I mean, you already had the idea and then I had the idea, but we hadn't talked about it. And then I thought of you. But long story short, my point is I was thinking, it would be sick if there was like an Asian night market because if you've ever traveled to Asia, Southeast Asia, like the nighttime market game pops off. Like everything comes alive at nighttime. Yeah. And I was like, we have so many Asians in Vancity. Like, why don't we do like Asian night market specifically? Mm-hmm. And so I was like, who would be the perfect curator to organize this? And then I was like, oh my gosh, Ricecake. I hit you up. And then you were like, I literally was already thinking about how we wanted to start doing night markets.
Yeah, exactly.
And so we organized the first one for Winter Arts Fest in the freaking cold in February. Yep. It snowed.
Yeah, it snowed, it hailed, like just about everything but monsoon. It was a wild one. But people still came out.
Of course, man. And yeah, it was a really great curation of also all Asian vendors. and especially kind of like our generation of artisans and people making and creating delicious, beautiful things. That was really cool.
Yeah, I'm super glad that we were able to make that first thing come to life, because it led to a second one in the summer, and it's going to lead to a third one this summer.
Woo, woo,
yeah, we
yes.
just got the A-OK to come back and do it all over again.
Amazing.
And I always look forward to working with Vancouver Mural Festival, because it's kind of like a way where we can just like cap off our crazy Pride season and just kind of, you know, bring more community together in a different aspect, and kind of just like it's nice. I really love where the like the location where Mural Fest happens. I also live in the area, so it's super
Mount
convenient for
Pleasant.
me. Yeah, and I love to see my neighborhood glow up like that, and then for me to be able to bring in like our people, our community, our mission, like it's, you know, chef's kiss. It feels very rewarding to have that opportunity.
Over these last 6 years, like how did things come together? What kinds of challenges did you maybe have to go through in order to get to where you are now?
Well, that's a great question. I think that since our origin, Van Shadior, we always kind of like locked in on bringing Ricecake together as like a passion project. Like quite honestly, we funded the party ourselves out of our savings and just kept rolling our profits over into the next party. And so after like a few, like, I don't know, like 3 years or something, I think that we realized that like, oh, we need to figure out how to expand our capacity. And so we kind of grew our team.
I saw that, the website. I was like, ooh, all these new people.
Yeah, and I think that like, you know, we brought on Hoshin, who is our director of finance, and he's also like in the Vogue scene, and so he also like is really dialed into like a whole community of dancers that he curates for go-going. But basically between the three of us now, I think like that has been the biggest evolution, because it really prompted us to also incorporate Ricecake as an actual company.
Yes.
Which has allowed us so many more opportunities, like for grants, for example, and like it really helped us expand our capacity, you know?
So you incorporate, it's not a non-for-profit?
We, you know, I kind of like always think back, I'm like, gosh, we should have gone for non-for-profit. But at the time, well, I'm not sure. I'm still flip-flopping to this day. My business like savviness is always in development.
Yes.
I thought that like incorporating would just be the, I don't know.
tax shelter over there.
A little bit, like a little bit more direct. I don't know. But then there are still times where I'm like, gosh, was that the right decision? I'm not really quite sure. Regardless, we do kind of operate like a nonprofit. Like, I mean, we really, like when we build out our expenses for Ricecake, it's like really our focus is on is every single performer being paid well.
Yeah.
That's really like the mission, and then being transparent. Like Ricecake doesn't really make that much money. Like it's kind of just a way for like Van Hoshin and I to give ourselves and our family, our community, gigs. So it kind of just like, it's a machine that we kind of created to like just keep, you know, keep the cash flow alive in our community.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Fully.
Yeah.
And you know, like I've heard from a lot of other people too who've like been considering the route of going non-for-profit, and like also again within that world there are certain things you can and cannot do. And so like maybe it's time for us to think of new models, and especially when we're trying to create things that are sustainable and like what you're saying, like keep the cash flow going that supports our community, that funds back into our community, and like it keeps it rolling, you know, versus maybe just reliance only on grants, versus like you don't have a cap on like being able to profit and then being able to bring those profits again back in, or creating a new model. I'm definitely interested in seeing or hearing about that kind of potential future for our communities, our arts communities.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would like to have a better understanding of all that stuff too, because I think one of the things that like I would like to do like next for Ricecake is do some like workshops that help people, like help community increase their capacity to do essentially what we're doing. Because it's like what we're doing is not like proprietary information or anything. It's like we're throwing parties for people that like look and feel like us.
Yep.
You know, it's like I feel that anyone can do this. Information to do this should not be gatekept. And I think that, like I was saying before about all the shout outs to the other like POC organizers, I just want to see even more of that, because I think that when I look back on like Ricecake's legacy, seeing all these other like racialized queer groups come up is, I feel like, something I don't take credit for, but I can't help but feel like, oh, we kind of did like ignite a little something in people.
Yes, fully. I mean, especially when you look at the timeline of things and how things unfolded, it's like, I had said this a while ago, where it's like, I think Vancity's arts and culture is kind of going through a renaissance era where there's just an emergence of so much. And that usually happens because crazy things happen, like, oh, I don't know, a pandemic and, housing crisis and blah, the erasure of arts and cultural spaces, blah, blah, blah. But when things happen like that, like art just, it finds a way through the cracks to grow and thrive and push back, and then like a surgence of new emerges. And that's kind of like what I feel like I've been witnessing and seeing. And especially in this lane of racialized queer community, because prior to that, really, like, people would just know about Davie Street.
Exactly. And it's so funny that you mentioned that, because I feel that, like, queer culture, I feel like queer culture doesn't necessarily only live on Davie Street.
Nope.
I feel like it is what like, everyone in BC maybe like knows, oh, that's the gay village. But I feel like I feel like I'm an East Van queer. I feel like that there are, I feel like new spaces are popping up all the time. Working with like the folks at Eastside or at Birdhouse Studios, like they're always trying to, create more spaces for queers and like take it outside of just like the downtown district, because it's like realistically we live all over the place.
Yeah.
And so like I feel like
who really lives downtown? Well, actually there's a lot of people who live downtown.
Yeah, people who can afford it.
Yeah. Exactly. Or are willing to sleep in a solarium or den. Which,
exactly.
like,
with like
no
4
shade,
other
man.
roommates,
Like, you have to do what you got to do, because this is a tough city to live in. It's a beautiful city to live in, but that's the reality. Ooh,
we are
we're
down.
almost done. I think we could do, you do one and I do one.
Okay, that sounds good.
Oh my gosh, and then we can fire up the stove and start steaming these.
I've actually never used the steamer.
Oh, really?
I know.
Okay.
I kind of feel like a fraudulent agent in
No,
this moment.
never. Honestly, especially when like really good, if it's Chinese food, Viet food, Cambodian, Filipino, whatever, like there's going to be some other auntie, uncle who's going to be making it like better than we could. Then is it worth the effort? Nah, you just go out and buy it and eat out. And it's actually not super expensive, thank goodness. So for you to not have ever used a steamer is like, makes sense. When I travel through, especially Southeast Asia, sometimes, because I like groceries, I like going to the market and cooking for myself, but when it's just cheaper to eat out, when someone has already made it for you, like, you kind of go for that option.
For sure. Like, I just came back from Vietnam, and that was definitely my experience. It's like, it's grabbing a delicious hot meal that would take you like a day to make, probably 2 days to make, is like $4.
Exactly.
Delivered to you.
Like,
hot.
Are you going to take all that time to make a pho broth, like a whole day and a half?
No, I'm going to support the local economy.
That's it. That's exactly it. Oh my gosh, when did you go to Vietnam?
Maybe like 2 months ago. Like, we went from February 28th till March 28th. It was like a full leap year. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so that would have been like just after the Lunar New Year.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I kind of scheduled it so that we could do our Lunar New Year celebrations big. Yeah. And then I was able to just like take off for a little bit, because we're kind of between our parties. Now currently ramping up towards Pride season. May I help?
Yeah. So a trick that I learned about using the bamboo steamer is like these little parchment paper things are the best, because it helps with like cleaning. You don't get the thing really dirty, especially when the bottoms of the dumplings stick onto the bamboo. But then the thing that I learned from yesterday, because we did a trial run of the recipe, made some adjustments. Like the original recipe, I was using a bit of egg white, and then it just made it too soggy. I also, if anyone is trying to make this at home, like I also patted down the shrimp after I washed it and peeled it to take out all the extra moisture, right? But yeah, and then I put a little bit of avocado oil on here so it won't stick. So that was the thing that happened yesterday, was that they it stuck to the bottom.
That's why your
that cute.
Parchment is glistening.
That's it.
Gotcha.
Okay, and then now I don't know if you
through the magic of television.
Well, okay, so these were my backup dumplings. They're also veggie dumplings. They're frozen, but I'm worried that they're not gonna cook
at the same time.
At the same time, same temp.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So
do you want to do them one at a time?
We could do that. Yeah. Smart. Okay. So we're going to just wait until that starts steaming.
Sick.
And then we'll put this on the side for now. And then maybe we can start making the smashed cucumber salad.
Sweet. What's going in this?
Okay, so just beside you. Thank you. We've got Japanese cucumbers. They were on sale. Shout outs to City Avenue Market. We love you.
We love an independent grocer.
And that one especially. So we got soy sauce. We have sesame oil. We have the rice vinegar. Instead of sugar, I always like using like maple syrup or honey. This is a little bit of maple syrup. We've got salt. We've got cilantro. And so, yeah, this is a smashed cucumber salad. I also have garlic. I didn't have anywhere to put it, so I already put it in the bowl. But we're going to start with a knife that disappeared. Jamal hid it from me. Okay, so I haven't tried this before of the smashing part. I know that you can cut it in half and smash it, but like the other recipe said just smash it. So let's experiment.
All right. Like, okay.
Like,
you
know,
literally
like
just smash it.
That did nothing. We're gonna cut it in half. That definitely didn't do anything. Okay, how about now? Let's see about smashing
More
it.
smashable.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay, nice. You want in on a smash?
Sure. How smashed are we going? Like not...
Well, this kind of smashed,
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
Gotta show a bit of restraint. There you go.
Amazing. Here, let's do another. I'm gonna do... We'll tag team. Well, I do the half situation and you do the smash.
Okay, sounds good.
Have you ever had this salad before?
I think so. Like, I've made my own variation of it. My partner really needs her daily dose of greens. And sure, if there is not something ready to make, I will literally just run to Kim-Mar and grab some cucumbers and, make her this, like, a smashed cucumber anything is so easy. Sorry.
No, it's all good. We're smashing out here. What do you like cooking at home?
I am more of an assembler of food when it comes to my like food prep.
Yeah.
I feel like I never carve enough time for it, but when I do, what do I like to cook? Honestly, like, what is in my wheelhouse? Fish. I like to cook fish.
Oh.
Yeah. Actually, anytime, like, there's a fish craving, I'm always on fish.
Like fried or what?
No,
baked?
Like, I usually pan fry it. Salmon, or like a halibut, or like, honestly, on a special day, like maybe black cod. But honestly, I just do like a simple marinade, and then just pan fry it. But yeah, my partner says that I just understand the cooking quality of the fish, so it's just my job. Meanwhile, she's doing all the complex Vietnamese dishes that like require a day.
What did you eat in Vietnam that you really love?
Oh, bonnet.
What's that?
Bonnet is like a sizzling beef plate. So it's a sizzling beef plate that has like pate on it, and it's served with like with an egg. And it's all just like served to you really hot, and it's so decadent and delicious.
Perfect.
And it's something that you can't really find here.
Yeah.
Like, I know if you go onto Victoria Drive, like, there is Viet food galore, right? But it's hard to find a bonnet.
Bonnet.
Mm-hmm. The other things I really liked, like, every single, like, cha dessert. Just, like, coconut milk, huge red beans, like, miscellaneous jellies that were just made by the grandma that day or night.
And
that's the good stuff.
Is your family heritage from Vietnam originally? Or?
No, my parents are actually Chinese-born Indonesian. And
Oh, what?
Yeah, they're
Chinese-born Indo.
Yeah. So we actually have like a long history of like perpetual displacement in a way where it's like I've always tried to understand like as a Chinese-born Canadian, I guess, like what does that even mean? So I asked my parents like, when did your parents come from China at some point? And their long story is always like, don't really know. Long story short is always like, don't really know. Like their parents were displaced at some point from China, had to move to Indonesia, and then even when they were settled in Indonesia, my parents were both born there, they were still kind of othered in a way. They're like, oh, you're not really Indonesian, you're like Chinese Indonesian. Like there's always this like level of being othered.
Yes.
Then they moved, fast forward a little bit, they moved to Canada, and they're, you know, still immigrants. So we have a perpetual like immigration identity, I guess. I guess I identify as Canadian because I'm born here,
Right.
but I always am kind of like seeking for like some sort of cultural connection, which is I feel like maybe why I'm so passionate about doing Ricecake.
Yes.
If it makes me feel a little bit closer to like my Asian heritage, helps me feel like I can embrace it a little bit better. But I feel like recently, especially after my trip to Vietnam, I feel like honorarily like Vietnamese because all the grandmas called me it, and my partner is Vietnamese.
Aww.
And so like hearing her speak so passionately about her culture definitely makes me feel like, oh, I have something to like be excited about. You know what I mean?
Is there any part of your growing up that like connected with like Indonesian culture, or were your parents pretty like maintaining their Chinese roots in Indonesia?
I feel like my dad like speaks a little bit of Chinese, but he's very like, he's always been kind of an adventurer. He like lived he worked on a ship for a while. And so he was always like traveling and visiting new places. So I don't know like if he's really like, if he even identifies really as Chinese. My mom, on the other hand, who's a cook and did all the feeding of the children at home, always cooked pretty Indonesian meals. But when we went out to eat, like the treat would be Chinese food. So I kind of feel like a medley of those things. And maybe that's why I kind of sometimes feel like, oh, am I like Asian enough?
Right.
Because I'm always trying to figure out or like piece together pieces of my heritage. Which honestly, I feel at the time I felt like maybe that's a unique story, but the more I talk to people, I realize that's not a unique story at all. So
That a
it
lot
feels
of
good
people
to talk
connect with
about
that.
it. Yeah.
I mean, where in Indonesia did your family?
Solo.
Okay. Is that
Solo is like a big, it's on like a big island. So I actually only recently went to Indonesia for the first time. I went to Bali, which is like, think like kind of like a holiday island of
and
Indonesia.
the anomaly of Indonesia, because the rest is Muslim and
Yes.
they are still practicing like Balinese Hinduism.
And they're not so LGBTQ friendly in other
really?
parts of Indonesia. Yeah, my parents, I think when I came out, were like mortified of like my safety, because if I was in Indonesia, like then you'd get stoned or something,
Right.
like by rocks.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
Not the other fun kind.
not the good kind. Not the good kind.
No.
Yeah. So, sorry, what was
What
your-
we're saying?
what were we
Yeah, we just thought about something else and went down a different train of thought. Indonesia.
Being kind of not that LGBTQ friendly. I mean,
Right.
that's why I went to Bali. It was like a little bit of a safe haven,
Yes.
very made for tourism. But yeah, I've never embarked on, followed back where my parents are from. I would love to one day.
Yes.
But it's so funny. Every time I kind of even mention it to my dad, he's like, oh, but you kind of got to tone down this. I'm like, how? You tell me how and I'll do it.
Yeah. Tell me how.
Tell me how.
We should try this.
Okay, let's
I've
do it.
got some chopsticks here.
Okay. Ditch this one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's see if it needs a little bit more of anything.
Nice mashing. That's good.
That's good. Do you think it needs anything else? A little bit more salt?
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay. Let's do that. A little bit of salt flakes. Got newly put onto the salt flakes, thanks to Vanessa Tam and also Jamal over here.
Yeah, apparently the best finishing salt.
Okay, that was my timer for the dumps. Let's see.
So, what is the correct timing for the dumplings?
Well, I put 5 minutes, but I think it'll be like maybe 1 more minute.
Yeah. I think that middle one wants a little bit more time.
Yeah,
like
but
that
also
one.
we don't want to like overcook the shrimps,
That's
right? Mm-hmm. I think this could be ready.
Yeah?
Well, let's
find out.
Let's find out.
Yeah.
Ow, hot. Why did I do that?
Have you seen that meme where it's like, do you or just like, or blow on your food? I think
Looks
that's
pretty
ready.
Good. You try. No one likes a overcooked shrimp.
No, it's looking good.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's correct.
I just got so excited. Okay. What am I doing now?
Excellent flavor profile. I don't think I've ever had shrimp and dill.
Dude, I'm like stoked and impressed right now. Mm-hmm. Okay, that is going there.
Okay, round 2.
We're gonna do the veggie. We'll do this on a lower heat setting here. This is the frozen ones.
Those are looking pretty good.
Oh,
those are looking pretty good.
Okay, let's clear this because it's not as cute. And then I have already pre-made some sauce to go with the dumplings.
Oh my goodness.
Do you have like a sauce preference that you usually do when you're at like dumpling restaurant or?
Oh, if I'm making dumpling sauce at home, I usually do like rice vinegar, a little bit of light soy sauce, dark soy sauce, chili crisp whenever possible, smashed garlic. Did I say rice vinegar already?
Oh. You're
risking it all.
I'm risking it all. Okay, I'm just, let's just.
Should we plate?
Yeah, let's
okay,
plate.
Let's plate.
Let's plate together. Let's
There we
practice our chopstick skills. Do you remember the first time you ever learned how to use chopsticks?
Yeah, and I feel like the lessons are still going on a regular basis. Yeah, I feel like from afar it looks like I can use chopsticks, but if you look closely, I'm kind of cheating. I'm using an extra finger, and
you are.
I am.
You're going with the middle as well.
I'm like
and
holding it like a
yeah. The what do you call it? The ring finger as well.
Yeah. It's my supporting finger.
It's actually so much easier to use the fourth finger. I've never tried that.
I know it's cheating, but honestly, it just makes the accuracy that much better. Then you can actually load on the chopstick. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't consider this cheating. I would consider if you were stabbing your food cheating.
Yeah, that's true.
But this is straight up like adding an extra support for security measures.
Yeah. I remember my dad would teach me at Chinese restaurants. He would be like, put your hand here, put your other hand here, or other finger here, and then just do this. And he would make me try to pick up napkins one by one and serve everyone napkins with chopsticks.
Napkins.
Yeah, that was my training.
Look how beautiful.
This is delicious.
Didn't we have more dumplings? Oh yeah. Okay. Let's eat first, then I do another round into the thing.
You got a timer going for the veggie?
Because I'm smart.
Yeah.
We did that.
Nice.
So this sauce I made with sesame oil, soy sauce, tamari soy sauce, again, the maple syrup as my sweetener, some chili flakes, some rice vinegar, some black pepper. Just put it in a jar and I shook it up until it tasted right.
Nice.
I don't really measure when it comes to the sauce. I just go off of intuition and taste.
It usually works.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. Boop. Bon appetit. And shout outs to Mother's Dumplings for the inspiration.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me for food.
Oh, yeah. The best way to go.
Yeah.
Who could say no to an interview where we just feed you?
Good sauce. Got enough?
Oh, yeah.
Delicious.
The dill, man. Just adds a little extra, I don't know, va-va-voom.
A little soul to that shrimp.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of things that are delicious, at the Ricecake party, Year of the Dragon, the snack bar with all the Asian stuff, Pocky, instant noodles, candies, rare versions, the matcha flavor. That was so good. Such a smart idea, and we didn't have to leave the club.
Yeah, it's true. Actually, Ricecake, I think the name of it kind of originated from the idea that in Asian cultures, it's there's always a form of rice cake, in every part of Asia. You know what I mean? And so much of Asian culture gathers around food. So that's kind of why it has like our party has like a food related name. So it's kind of perfect that we're doing this.
Exactly.
But yeah, the snack shop thing was kind of like a little bit of a little homage to where that name came from. And we're like, oh, we should have a snack shop, like an ethnic snack shop, like rare chips only. We had like hot pot spicy shrimp chips, like
shrimp chips.
Yeah, like Korean
Bulgogi.
barbecue bulgogi beef chips, like yeah, all the rare stuff.
All the Lay's flavors that you can only get. Oh yeah. What's up, Jamal?
Cucumber flavor.
Oh, cucumber flavor. Oh,
We did have a cucumber flavor, yeah.
yeah.
Good memory.
So good.
We didn't do a snack shop for Sanrio Rave, but I think when is the next time we're gonna have a snack shop? It might be a while because we're doing a bunch of outdoor parties now.
Oh my gosh, time to plug him.
Yeah.
Let us know what's going on in Vancity.
Okay, well, let me get my dumpling down first. We've got a bunch of summer events coming up. We talked about Vancouver Mural Fest. That's going to come up in August after all of our Pride programming. But between now and then, we've got a bunch of things like Ricecakes. Next big thing is going to be with Dragon Boat Festival, whose lineup has already been announced, and we talked a little bit about Dragon Dim Sum. We used to do that at Cold Tea, but we found that like the event was so popular that we couldn't fit enough people inside Cold Tea. So now we're partnering with Dragon Boat Festival. We're doing some stage programming, but we're also going to make it kind of like an outdoor Dragon Dim Sum resurgence. So they're working on who's going to be bringing the dumplings, serving the dumplings while we're serving hot entertainment. So that's going to be on June 23rd, summer solstice. Also the same day as Dragon Boat's big festival. So come on down to Falls Creek. There's going to be a big splash of things happening, including some Ricecake programming. So you definitely don't want to miss that on June 23rd.
Woo, woo. Okay, let's see if these veggie ones are done. There's a little half there.
Oh, yeah.
It has tofu, cabbage, vermicelli. I think it's done. I think
They're
that's done.
good, but they are missing a little bit of love, you know?
Yeah, not like
The
ours.
shrimp ones are really popping with that something extra.
Yep. That and the pizzazz, man. The pizzazz of the dill.
Nice.
Okay. I am going to put these.
Oh, you are
on
experienced. So I didn't know this either. You can reuse the steam sheet too,
here.
eh?
Well, I don't know if that's true, but we're just gonna do
We're
it
making it
anyway
happen,
because do we have another? Maybe, but it's too far away to worry about.
I also saw a hack on the internet recently where it's like if you don't have these specifically shaped, like round ones with holes already pre-made in them, like the parchment paper,
yeah.
you can literally just use the parchment paper in your house and like cut it to size and then like just cut holes in it and same.
Amazing. Yeah.
Instagram taught me.
Oh, yeah. I actually was looking up on Instagram for some inspirations on recipes as well. And during yesterday's test kitchen, I mean, we should have filmed this, Jamal. It was pretty funny where one person, she put, the rice paper you use for like salad rolls, Viet salad rolls. They cut it up into 4 and then like layered it on top of each other after they put it in the water and then put the filling and then like pinch the top kind of like a wonton.
Oh, yeah.
So we tried that and then we're like, okay, let's test it. So we tested these, we tested that, and it just fell apart into like goop.
Yeah.
Because it was overcooked.
Yeah.
And then I was like, what kind of rice paper did you use? Because that would have been like more like crystal shrimp.
Did
hagao.
they steam it?
Yeah.
To cook it as
they
well?
They also steamed it.
Because I feel like if you deep fried it, it would stay together. Because you know when you go to like a Viet restaurant and you get like the spring rolls that are really bubbly on the outside, those are made with rice paper. And so I feel like
I love that texture.
yeah, it's a good texture. Yeah, everyone on the internet is like trying to hack rice papers these days. It's wild.
What else have you seen with what you can do with rice paper?
People make sandwiches out of it now, or gluten-free sandwiches with it. We'll just like wet it up, we'll just throw it on a pan so it's kind of frying while you're going, and then you build like an egg sandwich on top of it, like crack an egg and then like throw some cheese. You know how people keep doing those, like they quarter it or like they kind of throw the round down in their minds. They like assemble their ingredients like in quarters so that you can just like fold.
Oh,
and
wow.
then it's just one perfect handful. So I've also seen people do that with like like do knockoffs of that with a spam musubi type of thing, like breakfast sandwich. But yeah,
What's on masubi?
spam musubi. It's like it's Japanese. It's like the spam on top of rice. It's like a spam nigiri.
Oh yeah, and then it has the little seaweed that wraps it all together.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen that on Nina Mendoza's Instagram for sure.
So good. The spam queen.
Speaking of DJs, how did you get into DJing?
Oh, that's a good story. I actually started DJing quite a long time ago. Like right when I finished high school, I went straight into production school for broadcast television. And to kind of bide my time between classes and homework, I needed a job. And I found this random one on Craigslist that was looking for like a music coordinator. And I'm like, oh, well, this like kind of suits like all of my skill sets. And without even knowing that it was a DJ job, I walked into this interview and they're like, it's a wedding DJ thing. So
music coordinator is a DJ?
Yeah. So the guy who hired me said that like the reason he framed the job like that is because he didn't want to just like attract people who want to be like a big festival DJ. He wanted someone who was like customer service oriented, there to, like knowing how to please clients, that sort of thing, and professional. So I worked for a wedding DJ company for a really long time, like probably all throughout college, probably for a few years after that. So I really like shaped all my skills on like CDJs, on turntables and stuff, but like not to like scratch and like do like all these like fancy like IG friendly tricks and stuff. It was really to entertain like the people there in the room. So I feel like that's like my super sauce when it comes to like DJing. It's like I really know how to read a room because I've had to do it for like tons of weddings of like people that I have no connection to.
Yeah, and probably a whole span of like we love to hear Journey.
Yep.
You know, to like the hip hop crowd or whatever.
To like the festival EDM crowd. Like so I feel like I've like been able to really get like a wide sense of like my musical range, know how to like really read different crowds. And long story short, after I kind of got like tired of like the wedding and corporate sort of like, you know, just like pocket of partying, I just stopped doing it. And I just started doing parties. Like literally like a friend of a friend knows that I DJ. So they just plugged me into like a party, like a queer party at the time. It was called like Prance. It no longer exists, but like it literally just started off with one friend of a friend booking me to another friend of a friend booking me to a bigger party. And like it kind of just, I've been very lucky to, I feel like, have people like recognize me enough and like be connected enough to me to be like, oh, will you play this party? Because now I like play almost every week.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. Okay, you went to school of broadcasting too? I did that.
Did you? You went to BCIT?
I did. This was in Toronto. So at the time it was called Ryerson. Now it's called Toronto Metropolitan University. But I studied radio and television arts.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. And also I'm not surprised. You know, like
dragons.
Yeah,
you know?
dragons.
Dragons.
It's true. And very specific ones. We are the
wood dragon.
Oh, we just got a message. Shay Dior and Big Papa Pump are watching on YouTube.
Oh, shout out to Shay Dior, mother of the House of Rice.
Tell us more about Shay Dior while we're talking about her right now.
Oh, while she's watching me, making me nervous. Shay Dior, what do I have to say about her? She is visionary. I mean, honestly, I always look to her as the true mother of House of Rice, the true mother of Ricecake. Two separate things. Ricecake is the party, the queer Asian party. House of Rice is a queer Asian drag family. And I think through Shay Dior's like vision and like their knack for community and bringing people together, I can't say enough good things about them, honestly.
Yeah.
I love them dearly. They are, an inside joke of ours is like, they are one of my wives.
Just one of them.
Just one of my wives. Wifey number 2. That's what we
call
her.
Yeah. I think the first time I met Shay was at a Pride event at Van Art Gallery.
Oh, yeah?
Do you remember that? It might have been a public disco Pride or something. Anyway, I just remember an incredible performance, amazing outfit. We took a picture together because I also look cute, as I tend to when I like to go out. But yeah, and then I guess shortly after Ricecake started being the thing that was emerging, because at that time I think it was just House of Rice.
Yeah, I think maybe you're right. I think maybe we met Shay Dior at the same time because I met them when I was DJing Queer Film Festival. It was outside. It was like, I can't remember the name, Queen Elizabeth Place or something. You know how they have that outside area where the Browns is now?
Queen Elizabeth Plaza.
Queen Elizabeth Plaza, thank you. Yeah, I was hired to DJ, and then I got Shay's music, saw them perform for the first time when I was running their track, and like, honestly, it's just been friendship and family ever since. Yeah, honestly, Shay's like chosen family. I really love them.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I love it when like, especially creative collaborative partnerships really work out, you know, and that like you described yourself as the father and Shay the mother, like what do you think between the two of you that you both bring to the table that really like complement and support each other?
I think that quite honestly, and whenever I think about like, Shay brings the vision. Like I think that like, she really brings people together. That is like their knack for like seeing different people in community and wanting to make a connection with them, wanting them to be a part of what we're doing. And like, I mean, you can see it in their family. Like the House of Rice started with like, you know, maybe a handful of people. And now there's like more than I can even recall right now, you know? That's why I got to wear this shirt. They're all on my back. So I carry them with me.
Yes. Who made this? Oh my gosh, sick.
This art was done by Bonganisa, who's I think in
Oh,
this top
yes!
corner. Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah. And this was just like a little fun project that we did last year when we were like, oh, let's like, you know, bring some merch out.
Oh my gosh, it's such a good design. It really reminds me of like Sailor Moon vibes of animation that I had grown up doing.
Yeah, we got these on sale on our website. So if anyone wants them, they're available online. Ricecake.events.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah, and what do I bring? I think, well, I just told you about my background. I think that I bring like the production prowess. Like I really am, I like to work behind the scenes. Working in front of the camera is like a little bit of a new, well, not new thing. It's just like, it's not where I run to naturally. I'm always like, I like to gravitate towards behind the scenes and really make sure that everything is up and running and sick. Yeah. Because once the lights go down and the sound comes up and people start coming in, that's when I feel like I've done my job, you know?
Totally. And then you get to let the thing that you've spent all this time preparing for in pre-production phase, like become a life of its own.
Yes.
I've always felt that in the world of like working events and festivals especially. It's like you're creating this thing and bringing it to life, like the incubation phase, the like in the womb phase. And then when it's out the womb, it's like, there you are, walk. You've got legs now. Yeah. You know, and just like gently trying to guide the thing so it doesn't like, I don't know, fall over the edge or something like that, and just like keep it on track. And then there you go. You have something that lives and breathes.
It's true. Yeah, I always breathe the biggest sigh of relief as soon as people start coming in the door. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, people want to come to our party.
We did the thing, and now it's just happening, which is great.
Yeah. I when I was reading your bio on your website and just like learned more about your production background in film and TV, and all of that makes a lot of sense to me because, you know, those production skills really translate into events. Even though it's a different medium, it's still that like operational, organizational brain going off and thinking about all the little details to make something happen, you know?
It's like advanced dominoes. It's like when you're playing dominoes, you have to like set up all your pieces and hope that they all fall. But when you're playing dominoes, you're doing it like right there with the pieces. I feel like when you're doing pre-production or like a party planning, you have to do it all in advance and envision them all falling perfectly, you know? But yeah, I feel like I got my best production experience when I worked on a really random TV show called Cheer Shark.
Cheer Shark?
Cheer Shark. It was about like an like a really highly competitive like group of cheerleaders from like Ontario or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like a little bit of like Toddlers and Tiaras versus like Dance Moms, like combined into one like Canadian show about these cheerleaders.
Okay.
Where like all of my production experience where like I would be emailing people all day and like they reply by email, all of a sudden got thrown out the window because these teenagers literally only respond by text, you know? So I started learning how, or like I got on their level and I was doing all this like major show production just by text, which is like really fitting to like where I am now because that's how I do most of my planning is on my phone.
Yep. Yeah, that's funny when that generation flipped where it was like they only communicated through this other medium versus like a regular phone calls. Like people are afraid to pick up phone calls and just have a chat.
Yeah, no, people don't do that. Even I'm scared to pick up the phone because I'm like, is a robocaller gonna record my voice?
And AI it?
I know.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I had to tell my parents that the other day. I was like, careful, they'll copy your voice and use it and then plug it into AI and could steal your banking information.
I know.
That's always the fear.
Did you see this like little news clickbait thing come up about Scarlett Johansson, who voiced her, was AI in Her? She's like now suing like an AI company for like
Taking her voice.
Basically taking her voice. Isn't that crazy?
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Which is why I also heard about other celebs who started like licensing their voice because they're like, well, if you're going to take it, I might as well make
money
paid,
off of it. Yeah, I think Tom Hanks is doing that because he's already kind of thrown his voice into like a bit of a digital world with like that, what is that train movie? I don't know.
Bullet Train? No, what train movie?
It's an older one. It's like animated and it like kind of, I can't even remember. But long story short, his voice was used in this like animation movie where it's like when you watch it, it kind of looks like, is it AI? Is it all graphics or is this like acted? You can't really tell. But anyway, through that process, I feel like he was like, oh, I better hop on this, like protecting my voice and livelihood.
Yeah, exactly. Don't let someone steal it. At least get paid for it because it is your voice. Oh, how are you feeling on full levels?
Oh, I'm snacking. I'm good. I can eat for days.
Yes. Speaking of eating and dumplings, other places in the city that you would recommend their dumps?
Oh, okay. Long's Noodle House used to be an establishment on Main Street. They closed down, I think, during the pandemic, but they reopened, and I recently visited them in a very random plaza in Richmond. It's kind of near IKEA area, but Long's Noodle House, they now have like a kiosk inside one of those random plazas, like super, super random plazas. But the food is still legit. Like their xiao long bao is off the hook. If you want to burn your mouth like on some like hot soup dumplings, this is the place.
I love soup dumplings. Like I will go and just like, I don't know, prepare with Tums or something just so that I can consume the beef, the pork. Was it beef? It's beef.
I think it's pork. It's like extra juicy.
Maybe it's beef and pork.
Maybe, honestly.
They do that. A lot of people like to mix their meats, but if anyone has never tried the soup dumplings, like I heard that the way that they make it is that because it's like, how do you put the soup in there,
inside,
right?
Yeah.
I heard that it's like more frozen, kind of like oil is, solidified.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like more cold, the oil and the broth is more solidified, and then they put that mixture inside and then wrap it, and then that's how, because otherwise, what do you think? They're like, trying to like pour it in there? A hot soup? Makes no sense.
I always thought that it came from the meat being just like that juicy. I don't know. Or maybe like...
I don't want to ruin the magic for you.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, I actually thought it was just like it being juicy. But that makes sense too. You'd have to manually add the juice.
Another dumpling recommendation. Have you been to the one on Kingsway beside the London Drugs in Joyce neighborhood?
No, I don't think
it's called
the one.
Wang. It's called Wang's.
Oh, no, I haven't been there.
It's small. It's got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tables.
My favorite places to eat.
Cash only.
Yeah.
Because that's when it's really legit.
Yeah.
And like auntie behind the window who's like pulling the dough, rolling the dough and making it for you, like live, you know? And they do a great dan dan noodle there too. But they have the really good soup dumplings. All their dumplings are delicious.
Okay, I'm definitely adding that to my list because it sounds closer than Richmond. But if you do live in Richmond, you really should check out Long's Noodle House. It's so good.
Others?
Other dumpling places. Honestly, I'm not sure right now. I feel like the last few times that I've like had dumplings, it has actually been someone making them for me. So lucky me.
Lucky you. I mean, we mentioned it earlier today how I wanted to get Cam Wai, but I love Cam Wai dumplings. They do a truffle mushroom. That was the one that I was gonna get as a backup.
Nice.
But yeah, they're really delicious. Of course, the shumai classic. But they also do the baos, like the little meat-filled or veggie-filled buns.
Yeah.
And then something I recently discovered, which, yeah, I don't know why I never messed with this before, but like the bean curd.
Oh yeah, I love bean curd.
Bean curd. I thought that was egg for so long. And then I was like, oh my gosh. So the bean curd with basa and spinach with
yum.
Water chestnuts.
That's a dumpling?
It's like a wrap.
I see.
Yeah, it's bean curd. They just call it basa, spinach.
Oh, it's like a dim sum item, right?
That's it.
Gotcha. It's like
Yes.
the outside is
I've
the bean
evolved
curd.
from dumplings and now I'm just going into dim sum territory.
Yeah, it's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. This is no place like home, you know?
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, so it's like a bean curd and it's got like stuff in it, right? And it's kind of,
Yes.
yeah, okay. I know the one. It's a good
super
one.
good.
It's my dad's favorite. He loves tofu anything.
So, with Ricecake, what is like the bigger vision, you think?
Bigger vision.
Or longer down the road, if you guys have talked about it or thought about it.
I mean, I feel like we are actively or currently working on it. Like, I think we actually, with our 6-year anniversary just behind us, we did ask ourselves, it's like, well, what's next? Like, we've acknowledged our accomplishments. We've really done so many different things, from like starting out as just, you know, like a party on Davie Street, and fast forward to now, we've like done, you know, collaborations with Dragon Boat, with Vancouver Mural Fest, with Vancity Beats, Eats, and more. So I feel like I want to keep the collaborations coming, you know, like I really feel that to expand like the work that we're doing, we need to connect with more people. And I feel like that's also part of Shady Yours vision. It's like, you know, it's like we can't just have a party that's only for queer and Asians. Like I feel like that might be a bit of a misconception that people might make when first hearing about us. It's like we're a queer Asian party. Yes, that is what we are about, but we are not only for queer Asians. Like we want to like create the safe space so that people who identify like us feel like they've got a place to call theirs. But if you are an ally and like are not queer or Asian but are like all about what we're doing, then come through and party, you know? So I think that like, you know, for me, I would really like to see Ricecake do more collaborations, like, you know, because I don't want to be some like gate kept secret. Like I want us like visibility for queer Asians to like just expand. I mean, having grown up in a conservative family, parents weren't like that LGBTQ friendly. I was kind of like my Asian like connections were a little bit stifled. I feel like this is like a little bit of my awakening in a sense where it's like if you kind of shared any of those sentiments that I grew up with, this is your time to like step forward and like shake all that behind you, because there's a lot of places for people to connect and like expand expand their world. I feel like Ricecake has really expanded my world, so you can have that expansion too.
Yes. I mean, I definitely felt that energy going to the party. I felt like I saw people who look like me, who I feel like I could identify with, and just like having a great time being free to express themselves, which is like pride, you know? And that is what I felt in that space.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I love hearing that.
And I love that you said a collaboration, because like, I don't know, maybe at a future Ricecake event, I'm going to need to bust out the dumplings and just have my own like tower of bamboo steamers and just like make some people some dumplings.
We can put a pause on the snack shop if you want to come down and do some dumplings. I'd be
I would
happy
have
to do
so
that.
much fun doing that, actually.
That'd be amazing.
We're going to talk about that, especially because now we've tasted the recipe, we've verified it is delicious.
It's really good. Yeah.
And I can figure out a vegan version for all y'all vegans. Yeah, we're at an hour.
We're at an hour.
We did the show.
Jeffrey's saying it's pork for the Jiao Long Bao.
Thank you,
Oh,
Jeffrey.
Thank you, Jeffrey. We've
The
got it
more you
clarified.
know.
It is pork for the soup dumplings, the Xiao Long Bao. Yes. Okay, well, Bella, thank you so much for being on the show, for sharing your story, sharing your experience and your time, and this was really fun.
Yeah, Cassie, thank you. It's always a pleasure hanging with you.
Yes. Thank you, everybody who's tuned in. Shout outs to Big Papa Pump and Shay Dior and everyone else who's watching the replay. We appreciate you. And yeah, if you want the recipe, bug me about it and maybe I'll post it. or maybe you'll have to come to a future Ricecake event and eat them yourselves. My name is Kazi. This is Bella. We out here on the unceded ancestral lands of the Musqueam, the Tsleil-Waututh, and Squamish First Nations. What is colonially known as Vancouver, but what we call Vancity. And this has been Vancity Beats, Eats, and more.